Hello students, welcome to AS Engineering Academy. Myself V. Ramaya. I have been working as full-time faculty with AS Engineering Academy since 2012 for COA and DLD subjects, especially for CSE branch. I am here for providing the CSE stream for 2021 GATE solutions for both CO and DLD subjects. Let's start up. Questions are like this. Please observe the question first. Consider a computer system with a DMA support. The DMA module is transferring one 8-bit character in one CPU cycle from a device to the memory through cycle stealing at regular intervals. Consider a 2 MHz processor. If 0.5% processor cycles are used for DMA, the data transfer rate of the device is dash bits per second. What is full name for DMA? Direct memory access. It is placed between secondary memory and main memory. DMA is placed between secondary memory and main memory. First of all, what about the clock frequency given for the processor? 2 MHz. Clock frequency 2 MHz means clock cycle time is 1/2 mega becomes micro. Clear? Next, which type of technique he uses? Cycle stealing. With the help of DMA, data transfer can be done in 3 ways. What is first one? Burst DMA, also known as continuous DMA. Second one, cycle stealing. Third one, interleaved DMA. He preferred cycle stealing. In cycle stealing technique, for one DMA request, only one character will be transferred. Means, number of characters to be transferred is equal to number of requests. Number of requests made by the DMA controller. Next, how much percentage of processor time is utilized for DMA transfer? 0.5%. He asked the data transfer rate. You remember one thing, always rate is applicable only for 1 second time. Always data transfer rate is applicable for only 1 second time. He asked the value in bits per 1 second time. Clear? Come here. First come here. What about the processor clock frequency? Solution is like this. Solution. What about processor clock frequency? Processor clock frequency. He gave 2 MHz. Then, what about clock cycle time? T means 1 by clock frequency, nothing but 0.5 microsecond. 1 by frequency gives time cycle. Next, what about the size of the data to be transferred in 1 clock cycle time? He mentioned 8-bit character in 1 CPU cycle. Means, what about CPU cycle time? 0.5 microsecond. Means, for 0.5 microseconds time, it transfers it transfers 8 bits. For transferring 8 bits, 0.5 microseconds time is required. That is, observe this. That is, for transferring 16 bits, it requires observe this one once again. For 0.5 microseconds time, it transfers 8 bits. Means to transfer 16 bits, it requires 1 microsecond time. For transferring 16 bits, it requires 1 microsecond time. Means in 1 microsecond time, it transfers 16 bits. Observe this. 1 microsecond time is used to transfer 16 bit. Then in 1 second, how many bits it can transfer? In 1 microsecond, 16 bit, 1 second, nothing but it transfer in 1 second, it transfer 16. It transfers 16 into 10 power 6 bits. In 1 microsecond, how many bits it can transfer? 16 bit. In 1 second, how many bits it can transfer? 1 into micro becomes mega, means 10 power 6 bits. Clear? It is possible to transfer this size of data in 1 second when processor uses 100% clock cycles. But in the question, it uses only 0.5% processor clock cycle time. That's why observe this, for 0.5% clock cycles time, it transfers how many number of bits? Look here, 16 into 10 power 6 into, he gave 0.5%, percent means per 100 number of bits. That is equal to 80 into 10 power 3 bits. It is nothing but 80,000 bits. Bits per second. It is integer. Fill in the blank question. So our answer is 80,000. Our answer is 80,000. Observe this question. The format of the single precision floating point representation of a real number as per the IEEE 754 standard is as follows. Sign bit, exponent field, mantissa field. Mantissa field is also known as a fraction field. Which of the following choices is correct with respect to the smallest normalized number, smallest normalized positive number represented using the standard? It is nothing but IEEE. It is nothing but IEEE single precision. IEEE single precision. Observe option A. Exponent value, he gave all zeros. Mantissa value also, he gave all zeros. Not only that one. If you observe option C, exponent value all zeros. In option A, exponent value all zeros. Option C, exponent value all zeros. What he asked in the question? Smallest normalized positive number. Smallest normalized positive number. Okay, na? Observe this first. In this, solution is like this. In this, in option A, exponent value 0. Option C also exponent value 0. Exponent value 0. What is capital E? Biased exponent. Nothing but biased exponent. Biased exponent. This exponent value becomes 0 for representing special values. What are special values? Special values are nothing but plus or minus 0, plus or minus infinitive, not a number, plus or minus 0, plus or minus infinitive, and not a number. These are used for special values. E value 0, E value 255 also special numbers at the same time. One more point is also there. He asked the normalized positive number. Here, what about option A? Exponent 0, mantissa 0. Exponent 0, mantissa 0 means in IEEE single precision, we use this one only for representing plus or minus 0. If sign bit is 0, then it is positive 0. Sign bit is 1, then it becomes negative 0. Next, what about option C? That's why option A is wrong. What about option C? Exponent is 0, mantissa is 1. If exponent is 0, biased exponent is 0, then what happens? Normalization is not possible. At the same time, it is known as D-normal number. D-normal number. Which one? Option C is nothing but D-normal number. Because normalization is not possible. To perform normalization, minimum capital E value is 1. It is D-normal number. In question, he asked for normalized positive number. Then what happens? What about option B or option D will become correct answer? What about option B? Come to option B. What about B option? He gave capital E, biased exponent value is 1. What about mantissa value? Here, 22 zeros 1. Since mantissa size is 23 bit, exponent size is 8 bit, and the sign bit size is 1. Then what happens? What about mantissa? Here 0, 0, 0 like that. 0, finally 1. 22 zeros and 1. Then what about expression value for finding the same? Expression value is nothing but minus 1 whole power s. What is s? This is sign bit into 1.m into 2 power. This value minus 127. Okay. For that, with the help of this expression, what about the value for the same? Look here. It can be 0 or 1, we don't know. But it is, according to given information, positive number means S is compulsory, 0. Whatever the exponent size doesn't matter. Only sign of the mantissa declares the sign of the result. So S is compulsory, 0. Why? He mentioned the same thing clearly. Normalized positive number. That's why. What about this one? It becomes 1 into. What about 1.m? 1.m means this one. into 2 power. What about E value he gave? In option B, what about E value? 1. 1 minus 127 means minus 126. Okay, now. Next, what about option D? Find the value of option D. In this, what about E value he gave? He gave 1. What about M value? All are zeros. Then what about expression value? Here, minus 1 whole power S means 1 into 1 point. What about M here? All zeros. All zeros means 0 into 2 power. What about E value? 1. That's Y minus 126. Finally, what about the value of option B? Option B is nothing but 1 into 1.00001 into 2 power minus 126. Option D value 1 into 1.0 into 2 power minus 126. Here, this value and this value are same, but difference is only in Mantissa. What about this Mantissa? 1.22 zeros and ones. Here, 1.0 only. So, compared to this one, this Mantissa is smaller in size. Compared to this Mantissa value is smaller. What he asked in question? Smallest. Because of that reason, correct option is D. So, what is correct answer? D. Option B becomes correct answer when he asked the largest positive number. Consider a set associated cache of size 2 KB. 1 KB is equal to 2 power 10 bytes with cache block size of 64 bytes. Assume that the cache is byte addressable. And 32-bit address is used for accessing the cache. If the width of the tag field is 22 bits, the associativity of the cache is dash. In this, he asked the associativity, means 2-way, 4-way, 8-way, 16-way, finally n-way like that. For solving this question, first let me explain one important point. What about the expression? For finding the tag field size in n-way set associative cache memory? Observe this. Solution is like this. Tag field size in n-way set associative cache. What about this one? It is very, very, very important expression. Nothing but PA minus CA. What is PA? Physical address means main memory address size. What is CA? Cache address means number of bits required for addressing a word in cache memory plus log n with base 2. This expression is very, 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 very important for solving some questions at shortest time. This expression is very, very, very important. Tag field size in n-way set associative cache is equal to PA minus CA plus log n with base 2. What about the information he gave according to this question? Observe this. If the width of the tag field is 22-bit, means he gave the number of bits for this information, means 22 is equal to PA. What is PA? Here PA size is 32-bit. PA size is 32-bit. Nothing but 32-bit physical address, main memory address. Next, what is CA here? CA here is nothing but, CA means cache address. Cache size is 2 KB. It can be written as 2 KB can be written as 2 KB can be written as observe once. What about PA size? PA size is 32-bit. What is CA? CA is nothing but, since cache size is 2 KB, CA is equal to 11. Why? Why? Because cache size is 2 KB, 2 power 11 bytes. So what about 11? 11 is nothing but CA. That's why here PA minus CA. What is PA here? 32 minus what is CA? 11 is plus log n with base 2 is equal to, what about the given tag field size? 22 bits. Then what about log n with base 2? It is 21. Automatically it becomes 1. Then it is equal to simply log n value becomes 2. To get 1 here, n value compulsory 2. So it is nothing but n is equal to 2. That's why it is known as a two-way associative. So what about our correct answer? Our correct answer is 2. First read question properly. Consider a pipelined processor with 5 stages. Instruction fetch, first stage. Stage is also known as segment. Instruction fetch, instruction decode, execute, memory access, and write back. Each stage of the pipeline, except the EX stage, each stage of the pipeline takes 1 clock cycle, means for completing their respective operations. Each stage takes 1 clock cycle for completing its respective operation. Next, assume that the ID stage merely decodes the instruction. What is full name for ID? Instruction decoder. What about the function of ID? Decodes. Decodes means it separates the operation part and operand part from the available opcode. Then it identifies the operation to be performed, and where operand resides means it identifies it knows the address of the operand. Next. And the register read performed in the EX stage. In EX stage, which operation is performed? Register read operation means reading of the register operation. Next. The EX stage takes 1 cycle for add instruction. For addition operation, one clock cycle is sufficient, and 2 cycles for mul instruction. Mul means multiplication. EX stage requires 1 clock cycle for add and 2 clock cycle for multiplication instruction. Ignore the pipeline register latencies. Whatever the pipeline register, buffer register latency, ignore that one. Consider the following sequence of 8 instructions. He gave one program. That program is having 8 instructions like this. Yard, mul, yard, mul, yard, mul, yard, mul. All these are sequential instructions. Means first this instruction is executed. It is I1, I2, I3. You write the program like that. Assume that every mul instruction is data dependent on the yard instruction. every mull instruction is data dependent on add instruction means it is depending on the result of this one. It is depending on, this operation is depending on result of this one. Observe this. Not only add instruction, not only mull instruction, the add instruction just before it and every add instruction except the first add, except this one. Every add instruction is data dependent on the mull instruction. What he is saying clearly, except first instruction, each and every add instruction is depending on the partial result of the mull instruction. At the same time, each and every mull instruction is depending on the partial result of the add instruction, except he mentioned that one, except the first add instruction. This speedup is defined as he mentioned speedup like that, execution time without operand forwarding by execution time with operand forwarding. What about numerator? Execution time without operand forwarding. Denominator, execution time with operand forwarding. Next, the speedup achieved in the executing the given instruction sequence on the pipeline processor rounded to the 2 decimal places is dash. Okay, get clarity in question. Next, solution is like this. First of all, tell me number of instructions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number of instructions is 8. Number of stages is 5. Okay. Solution is like this. What is n? N means number of instructions. How many? 5. Number of instructions 8. What k tells? Number of stages. How many? 5. Okay. Now, given program is like this. Observe program once. Add mull, add mull, add mull, add mull like that. Write program like this. Given program like this. First instruction, add. Next, mull. Next, add. Next, mull. Add. Mull. Add. Mull. We are having 8 instructions like I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, I6, I7, I8. How many stages it has? 5. Except EX stage. Remaining all stages take only 1 clock cycle for completing their respective operation. Here, what about the amount of time needed to require in each and every segment except EX stage? 1 clock. That's why. What about T segment? 1 clock. T segment means 1 segment delay, 1 clock. Okay now. Next. In this, total number of instructions is 8. K is equal to 5. First of all, if operand forward is there, operand, let operand forward is available. What about the amount of time required to complete the operation? TP means pipeline time. If operand forwarding is there, operand forwarding technique is there means no additional stalls are required. No additional stalls means bubbles. Stall is also known as bubble. No additional bubbles or stalls are required. Means no wastage delay to get the target operand from its earlier stage. Means let it requires operand from this. I3 supplies the target operand to I4. If operand forward technique is there, don't consider that one, that additional delay. Next, that's why. What about this? Already we know k plus n minus 1 into t segment plus, what about this? T stall. What is a T stall? Here, all segments out of 5 except EX stage, remaining all segments take 1 clock cycle, but EX stage takes 2 clock cycle. 2 clock cycle for which one? Mull instruction. 1 clock cycle for add instruction. How many such type of mull instructions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. That means in addition to this one, it requires 4 more stalls. That's why. What about the T stall? T stall means it is the additional time. It is the additional time required for EX stage to perform mull operations. How many mull operations are there? 4. It is nothing but 4. What about 4 clocks? 4 clocks. What about this one? Already we know 8 plus 5 minus 1 means 12 clock. 12 clocks. In total, 16 clocks. 16 clocks are required to complete the operation on pipeline processor with operand forwarding technique. Next, without having operand forward, observe this. Observe this. If operand forward is not available, then it requires some more additional clocks, some more additional clocks. Observe this one first. Observe this one first. Here, in question, what he mentioned, first observe this. In question, what he mentioned, except the first add instruction, except this instruction, each mull instruction is depending on add instruction and each add instruction is depending on mull instruction, except first add instruction. Why it is accepted? Because since it is first instruction, earlier there were no instructions, that's why there is no problem with operands. Operands are directly available. Next, come here. In this, except first, how many instructions we are having? 7. Number of instructions we are having? 7 at the same time. How many clocks are required in EX stage for mull instruction? 2. It requires 2 clocks. Means until completion of 2 clocks, this instruction cannot get the partial result from this because there is no operand forward. There is no operand forward because there is no operand forward. That's why here it requires 2 more additional clocks. After 2 more additional clocks, it can supply the partial result to this one. After getting the partial result from this, again it takes 1 clock. But after completion of 1 more clock, it is ready to accept the partial result from this, but it can provide the partial result to this. I2 instruction can provide the partial result to I3 after completion of again 2 more clock cycles. Finally, what I am trying to say is, it takes only 1 clock cycle for operand receiving, but it takes 2 clock cycles for supplying the operands, means partial result. That's why whatever the Number of clocks required for add instruction. First multi instruction takes 2 clock cycle. It is continued for all since it is pipeline. That's why it takes two more. It takes two more. Means only for operand. Operand forwarding, we require 14 clocks. Observe this. Only for operand forward. Operand forward. In general, what about the general meaning? Partial result. Partial result. To supply partial result, also known as operand forward. How many additional clocks are required? 14. Okay. If operand forward technique is there, how many clocks were required? 16. That's why. Take next page. That is, if there is no operand forward, total number of clocks required to complete the program. How many? Observe this. How many? Already, only for completing execution 16, for operand forwarding 14, total 20, total 30, 16 plus 14, 30 clocks. What about the expression he gave for speed up? Observe this. Execution time without operand forwarding by execution time with operand forwarding. What about without operand forwarding? 30. With operand forwarding, 16 clocks. It is also clocks. Clocks get cancelled. So 30 by 16. What about exact value? Use calculator. 30 divided by 16. 1.875. You remember one thing? In question, he asked rounded to 2 decimal places. Then we got 1.875. That's why answer should be between 1.87 to 1.88. Because since it is 5, we can write the answer like this, 1.87 to 1.88. Observe next question. If the numerical value of a 2-byte unsigned integer, numerical value, what does it mean? Numerical value, what does it mean? Decimal value. 2-byte unsigned. Given data belongs to unsigned. Length of the data is 2-byte, means 16-bit. Unsigned integer. And a little endian computer is 255 more than value 255 more than that on a big endian computer. Little endian value is 255 more than big endian. Next. Observe solution here. Little endian value should be 255 more than big endian. It is very, very, very important statement. Later. Which of the following choices represents the unsigned integer on a little endian computer? 4 options are there. It is multiple select question. MSQ, multiple select question. He gave 4 options. According to given information, default. What about default? All these are belonging to little endian values. One more point is also there. Most of the systems use little endian system. Only few systems use, few manufacturers use, few companies use big endian. Come to Intel company. Intel company uses little endian. What about little endian and what about big endian? Observe this. Let what is 4589H? What H tells? Hexadecimal. What H tells? Hexadecimal. 16-bit data. In this, it is known as a lower byte and it is known as higher byte. If you want to store this one in memory, let memory address and contents are like this. If it is little endian, and at the same time big endian, what about the difference between these two? Let memory address is 2500 and 2501. Each memory location is used to store 1 byte. Same memory address 2500, 2500, 2501. Upper one belongs to little endian and lower one belongs to big endian. In this, what about the procedure for storing this data here? If it belongs to little endian, first you should store 89 here, later 45 here. Means 89 is stored at the address of 2500, 45 is stored at the address of 2501. Means, first of all, lower byte is stored at the first memory location. Next, higher byte. If you want to store the same word in big endian system, what about that? First of all, higher byte 45. Next of all, 89. Memory location address is same, but you should interchange these 2 bytes. Clear? Next. You should get 100% clarity in one statement. Most of the systems use little endian, and if the type of method is not given, default is also little endian. Come to next. Observe the given options. A, 0 cross represents hexadecimal, lower byte, higher byte, higher byte. Here also same, lower byte, higher byte, lower byte, higher byte, lower byte, higher byte. Okay? Come to option A. What about option A? Observe once again. 0001. 0001. Unsigned integer. It is little endian. What about numerical value for this? In this, since it is in hexadecimal, that's why find its decimal value. 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, 16 cube. Finally, what about this decimal value? 1 decimal. Little endian decimal value is 1. What about big endian? Same big endian. While making conversion into big endian, first write lower byte, next higher byte. What about decimal value for the same? First lower byte is here, higher byte is like this. What about the decimal value for the same? 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, 16 cube. 16 square means 256. Decimal value is 256. Difference is 255. But you remember one thing, it is little endian, it is big endian. Here, big endian value is 255 more than little endian. But what he asked in the question, little endian value should be 255 more than big endian. That's why it is incorrect. Clear? What about option B? Observe second one, 6665. 6665. What about it is little endian? Little endian. What about decimal value for the same? Here 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, 16 cube. Finally 16 cube into 6. Take calculator help. Take calculator help. 16 cube into 6 plus 16 square into 6. 16 square means 256 into 6 plus 16 6 96 plus 5. What about decimal value for this? 26,213. 26,213. 26,213. What about big endian? Same big endian. In this, write the lower byte first. 65. Next, 66. Then 16 power 0, 16 power 1. I am going to find the numerical value. 16 square. Next, 16 cube. Again, find the decimal value for the same. 16 cube means 4096 into 6 plus 16 square means 256 into 5. 256 into 5 plus 96 plus 6. What about this value? This value is 25958. What about the difference between these two? Difference between these two is exactly 255. Then little endian value is 255 more than big endian. That's why it is true. Little endian value should be 255 more than big endian. That's why it is true. Next. What about option C? Go for next page. Option C. Observe this one. 0100. 0100. It is little endian. What about the value for the same in decimal? Here 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, 16 cube. So what about this value? 16 square means 256. It is little endian. What about the same big endian value? Here 01, write 01 at lower byte side. Next 00 in this 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, 16 cube. What about this value? Simply 1. What about the difference? Again 255. Little Indian value is 255 more than big Indian? Yes, it is also true. First option is false. First option is false. Observe this. First option is incorrect. Second one is true. Third one is also true. What about fourth option? Four, 2, 4, 3. 4, 2, 4, 3. It belongs to Little Indian. What about Big Indian? What about Big Indian? In Big Indian, you write 4, 2 here, 4, 3 here. After watching this one, we can easily tell this value, Little Indian value is less than Big Indian. Why? Here in second position it is 2, but it is 3. That's why this value is more than this one. But find the numerical value, no problem. For that, what about this? 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, 16 cube. What about numerical value for the same? 16 cube means 4096 into 4 plus 16 square means 256, 2 512 plus 16 4 64 plus 3. What about this value? This value is nothing but 16,963. It is Little Indian value. What about Big Indian value? 16 power 0, 16 power 1, 16 square, 16 cube. Here, 16 cube means 4096 into 4 plus 256 into 3 plus 64 plus 2. What about this value? This value is nothing but 17,218. What about the difference? Difference is 255. But Big Indian value is 255 more than Little Indian. But according to the given question, we require Little Indian value should be 255 more than Big Indian. Because of that reason, it is also incorrect. So, what about the correct options? Correct options. What about the correct options? Correct options are like this. Observe once again. A is incorrect, B is correct, C is correct, D is incorrect. That's why correct options are B and C. Observe one more question given in 2021 GATE paper. First read question carefully. Assume a two-level inclusive cache hierarchy. Inclusive cache hierarchy L1 and L2, where L2 is the larger of the two. Size of L2 is larger than L1. Consider the following statements. S1, statement 1. Read misses in a write through L1. Read misses in a write through L1 cache do not result in write backs of the dirty lines to the L2. What is dirty line? I give clarity for that. What is read miss? While performing read operation, If the searched word is not available in the searched memory, if searched word is not available in the searched memory, searched SEARCHED, searched memory, then it is known as miss. While performing reading, it is known as read miss, writing, write miss. Okay? Observe this. Read miss in the write through L1 cache do not result in the write backs of the dirty lines to the L2. Next, what about statement 2? Write allocate policy must be used in conjunction with the write through caches, and no write allocate policy is used with write back caches. First, you get clarity in write through and write back. First, get clarity in write through cache, write back cache. What is write through? Write through. First of all, let me explain small block diagram for this. Observe this. Let it is CPU, also known as processor. These are buses, group of lines, buses like this. Here, according to the given question, observe question. 2-level cache. L1 is first level and L2 is second level. L2 is larger of the two, means L1 is smaller than L2. In memory hierarchy, always closest memory's size is smallest. That's why it is L1. It is L2. It is L1 cache and it is L2 cache. It is the memory hierarchy diagram. Always smallest memory is closer to the processor, because processor frequency and closest memory frequency are almost identical. Means there will be no time waste in future while performing reading or writing operation, because its frequency perfectly matches with this frequency. Next, observe this. What about write through? Write back. Right now we are discussing write through technique. In write through technique, while writing a block is also known as line. Block is also known as line. Block and line, both are same. Block means group of words. While performing writing operation, in write through method, that block will be written not only in L1 cache but also in L2 cache. Means the recently updated information is available in L1 cache and L2 cache. What about the merit of this? Whenever that particular block is missed in L1, its duplicate block is available in L2, then reloading is not possible. At the same time, after completion of writing operation in L2, that data is readily available to the external devices through DMA controller. It is the merit. What about demerit? For storing same block, We are utilizing the space here and here. Valuable memory space is wasted. What about next one? In this, what about write-through technique? In this, the target block is, in this, the target block is written in both L1 cache and L2 cache at a time, at the same time, during same clock cycle time. What about write back? Write back technique. In this, while performing writing operation, first of all, the block is written only in L1 memory. Means duplicate block is not available in L2. Whenever processor wants to remove that block for accepting the new block, then only that block will be sent to the L2 next level. That's why no valuable memory space is wasted. No valuable memory space is wasted. Because of this reason, most of the designers use write back technique. Observe this. In this, the target block is written only in L1 cache. Once again, what about write through? While performing writing operation, if that block is placed L1 and L2 simultaneously, write through. If that block is placed only in L1 at that time, it is nothing but write back. Clear? Next. What about next one? Observe the statements. What is dirty line? Dirty line means dirty block. What block is also known as line? Cache block is also known as cache line. What is dirty line? Modified block in the cache. If that block is modified, which is available in cache memory, it is known as dirty block. What about the clean block? If that block is not modified, known as clean. If that block is modified, dirty, not modified, clean. Next. What about no write allocate policy? Observe this one, very, very, very important. When you are clear in the statement, you can able to solve that question. First, get clarity in this. What is no write allocate policy? The block is modified in the main memory, but not loaded into the cache. Means the target block is modified in main memory, but not loaded into cache. According to our diagram, observe diagram, that block is modified in L2. Here, according to this diagram, it is considered as main memory and it is considered as cache memory. But in the given question, he uses both L1 and L2. Both are cache memories. Observe this. The block is modified in the main memory, L2 memory, but not loaded into the cache, means L1 memory. Clear? What about next statement? Write back cache generally uses write allocate policy. Very, 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 very important. Write back cache generally uses write allocate policy. Write back caches. Write back caches means, write back means the target block is placed only in L1. Generally uses which type of policy? Write allocate. Write through cache uses no write allocate policy. Write through cache, no write allocate policy. After watching this one, come to one conclusion. What about S1? Read S1 once again. Read misses in a write through L1 cache do not result in the write backs of the dirty lines to the L2. Yes, it is true. S1 is 100% true. Statement 1 is 100% true. Read misses in a write through L1 cache do not result in the Write backs of the dirty lines to the L2. Yes. What about S2? Write allocate policy must be used in the conjunction with write through caches. What he is telling, write allocate policy must be used in conjunction with the write through caches, and no write allocate policy used with write back. What he is telling, no write allocate policy is used with write back. Observe our statement. Write through caches uses no write allocate. Write through caches uses no write allocate. Write through caches uses no write allocate. Here. Our statement is write through caches uses no allocate. What he is telling? Write through uses allocate. Because of this reason, S2 is false. It is true. S1 is true. S2 is false.